Okay, so I'm still in the IDE and I'm still in the same basic to-do flow. We're going to add in a few more calls. This time we're going to just make a call to update a task and then to delete a task as well. So let's start with the update a to-do. So what we're going to do is we're just going to update the to-do that we captured up here like so. So when we created this to-do, remember we captured this ID. So let's just update that same to-do. So we'll say given path of the ID that we captured. And because we're updating a to-do, we need to add in another body as well. So let's say request title, the title first still. Then for this one, we'll say complete. Let's update the complete to be true this time. So now we do when method put. So remember before we did a get and a post, but when we do a put, that's the HTTP verb when we want to update something at an endpoint. Let's check that the response that we get back is a 200. And let's also check that the response status is now updated has updated to true. So say and match response dot complete. Make sure that that equals to true. Looks good. Go ahead and run that quickly from Maven just to make sure that it's working. Okay, that looks good. Finally, let's go ahead and also to delete a to-do as well, just so that we're making sure that we're doing all of our different API calls that are on offer. Let's just delete the same to-do that we captured. So we say given path of ID. So again, Karate's going to append that ID onto our URL. This time we're going to say when method delete. So it's not a get, not a post, not a put, but a delete this time. We would expect to get a 200 response back when we run the delete call. Just run that quickly. And that's passed. That's good. Looks good. That looks like it's deleting as well. So we're getting into a state now where we've got quite a lot of to-dos in our application. So what might be good is if we make that call that clears down all of the to-dos at the end of this scenario. So let's just add in the API call that does that. So I'll just put a comment in here. So let's say clear all tasks. So to clear all the tasks, we have to call a certain endpoint. So this time I'm going to just type in the full URL of that endpoint just because it's slightly different to this one up here. It doesn't have API to-dos. So it's at localhost :8080. It is an API, but it's just at resets this time. So it's not at this to-dos endpoint. We just skip that and we just call straight away this reset endpoint. We need to make a get call to that. So we say when method get, check that the status we get back is a 200. And I think when we called that, we also got a JSON response back as well. So let's just try and match on that. So just check that the response, I think the response showed deleted, and then it showed a certain number that got deleted as well. So we're not going to be too sure what the number is going to be, just that it is going to be a number. To do that, we can just do hash number. So if we knew that it was going to be 10 deleted, for example, we could put 10 in, but for us, we'll just put in hash number. For now, I'll just put in 10 and let's just see what happens. I expect this will fail because we probably won't have 10 tasks, but let's just see what happens. Okay, so I'm running this at the moment. Yes, we've actually got 15 tasks and not 10, so that's fine. We know that this assertion is working. Let's change that now, this time to be hashtag number. I'll save that and then run it again. And this time it works okay. So now if I just jump back over to the UI, if I refresh now, just after running that karate test, we can see all the tasks have gone. So when we call the API now, it's deleting all of the tasks at the end of our scenario in here. So what's another enhancement that we can do in our script? So if we look here at these titles that we're calling for our to-dos, we're always having to hard code in the whole string of the title. So here I've typed in first, here again. So if I ever wanted to change that title in this test for some reason, I'd have to go through and I'd have to update this string in every different place. So what we could do instead is that we could just put this into a parameter, and just then if we ever needed to update the name of the task, we just need to update the parameter. Let me show you what I mean in the code. So what I'm going to do at the top here of this basic to-do, I'm just going to define, let's say a task name. Let's just give it the task name of first task. I need to make sure I put a star in front to make sure we do star def task name equals first task. So now instead of having the task hard coded, I can put in that task name parameter. So to do that, again, we use the hash, open brackets, and then we put in the parameter name. In this case, it's task name. let me copy that and then let me replace every time it says first. So down here for this title, I'll replace that there. Replace this one here. I'll leave the second because that's a different one. The same for here. For the title here, instead of it being first, I just want it to call directly the parameter. So directly this task name parameter, that should come from here because it's not in a JSON blob. We don't need to do the hash and the brackets. Replace this first with the task name here. And I think that's all of them. Okay, that looks good. Let me go ahead and save that and then we'll run it again. Cool, and that's working okay. So that's just refactored our code a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to maintain. Again, if we ever needed to change a task name, now we can just edit this variable here.